And we're live.
What is going on, buddy? What is going on?
Not much. Yourself?
Oh, not too much. Just waiting for the old YouTube thing to come up and say we're live, and I will share it to my personal stuff. How's your week been? There it is.
All right, man. How about yours?
Hey, man. Good. Oh, good. Stage 3. Oh, it's a good time.
There you go.
It is a good time to be alive. Have you gone back to a gym or anything like that?
Have I gone to a gym? Well, my gym is in my house, so I don't really need to go to one.
Okay, so you're not a gym guy. Like you don't need a gym membership to.
I'm a little bit of both. I have a barbell in my basement, and I can barbell, squat rack, bench press. I can do pretty much anything I need to do with that. I've also got like a living room where I can do whatever jumping, like I was doing like thousands of jumping jacks a day for a while and stuff like that. So I don't need a gym, but I do like gyms.
Yeah, get you out of the house, get you doing something, right? Now I'm noticing the price of weights on sell markets are going down. So
are they?
That's good if you're
that's something I'm actually hoping to.
That's something you might want to have a peek into. Because I mean they're starting to go now. Like for a while it was almost $4 a pound, and I was like, are you guys crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I know like some of the stuff, man, over these breaks have been ridiculous. Like a year and a half to get a hot tub. You're like, come on.
A year and a half to get a hot tub?
Yeah, they're like, hey, you want this hot tub? Year and a half. I'm like, come on, just give me the fucking get a hot tub. Like, how hard is that?
Yeah. So you're back to work?
I'm back to work. Yes, I'm back to work now. I don't know what I work. I just work. I work a lot. That's all I know. So where do you work? Whatever I want to work. I just roll in and I work. As long as I just work. It's fun. It's a good time.
It's a good time. So how has that transition been to reopening?
Good. I got a good team, so they just do what they got to do, and everything seems to be fine, and everybody seems to be somewhat happy. So, cool. I mean, if everybody's happy, I think I'm happy. And to be honest, coming out of this lockdown, hopefully it's the last one. Everybody's happy now to see people again. It's almost like you're sitting at home in your basement or whatever have you, like I am now. You're getting a little cranky, you're boozing too much. Now it's like, okay, we're open back up for business, Ontario. Let's be nice to each other. So it's a lot of hey, how you doing? It's a lot of smiles and stuff like that. So I mean, so far so good, right? That's the world we live in.
Yeah. All right. So I guess let's get into the show.
All right, man. I don't think we got let's see how long we can stretch this into. What do you want to hit first?
I don't want to stretch it into. I don't know. What do you want to talk about first?
Dude. Oh, not again.
What?
Man, I really don't care. Oh, I'm dying again. If my internet goes down today, I'm probably going to snap.
It's all good right. Good on my end, dude.
Mine is like do. It's all good. It should be okay. What do you want to start with first?
Well, what do you want to start with? I gave you a list of topics. What do you think would be a good one to dive into? We'll save Loki for the end. We know we're
Loki's at the end, right? Loki's going to take some time for me to digest what we watched on that. Let's talk about Space Jam. Let's go right into let's jump right into Space Jam. Let's jump right into the sexual innuendos this week, shall we?
All right. So Space Jam is out, and people are kind of reacting kind of weirdly about this because Lola Bunny is not sexy, apparently. This is what people are getting mad about. Is suddenly Lola Bunny, the female bunny that was in the first Space Jam, they've noticed that she's kind of flat-chested. She doesn't have like as shapely as a body, and a lot of people.
She's not curvy anymore. Curvy.
Yeah. Although I have heard girls say curvy is not necessarily a complimentary term, but yeah, exactly.
Well, it depends on which curves you're talking about, right? If you're talking, never mind. We won't get into that because I don't want any of our female viewers, Trev included, to get mad at me. Dude, she's a cartoon.
Yeah. I to be honest, it's funny because when I heard this story, I was like, that's a little weird. Who cares if this bunny is not as sexualized? It's for kids.
It's a cartoon. It's a cartoon. Am I missing something? Is it not supposed to be for kids?
I'm on the same page as you. I don't really understand. I think this might be a lot of people look back to their childhood and they maybe they had a bit of a fetishizing crush when they were like a child, and then they look at this Lola Bunny and they're all, oh, I can't wait to see that rabbit as an adult, and they're disappointed by what they see.
But she's playing basketball, right? Am I wrong on this one?
Yeah.
So she's an athletic girl. Now listen, ladies, listen. I know that women come in all shapes and sizes, but usually an athletic woman, usually the girls aren't kicking around. Usually they're, sports brought up or wrapped up so they could play basketball. The people that comment and complain, you should just put a little star beside them. And if they're American, you should go look at their internet history. You kind of tell me, what the fuck's going on here.
Okay, I agree. That's kind of my first reaction, but let's back it up a little bit. What if they did a Roger Rabbit 2 and they wanted to
if Jessica
Rabbit,
that's a big difference. Jessica Rabbit is an icon.
Yeah, okay. So but your argument was it's a cartoon, it's a drawing. You can't, who cares?
Jessica Rabbit is real life.
Cartoon.
She's real life.
No,
Jessica Rabbit is real life.
She says it herself. She's not bad. She's just drawn that way because she's a drawing, man. So this is where I had this cognitive dissonance is when it's Lola Rabbit, I go, oh, that's silly. Why are they getting excited about that? And I try to think of Jessica Rabbit. Well, if they did that to her, whoa, slow your roll.
Listen, don't give them any ideas. It's bad enough as it is. No, here's the deal, man. It's two different audiences, right? You're trying to sell children, and you're trying to sell children.
It's not two different. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is not an adult show. That was for kids. It had Mickey Mouse, Roger Rabbit, Bugs Bunny. It was a kids interacting with real life. It was very similar to Space Jam, actually, if you think about it.
It was a little bit more physical comedy, though, right? Like it was more Bugs Bunny of the 50s and 60s than it was now. Where now everything's soft.
Sure.
Everything's softer now.
Well, I don't know about that. This was in the 90s, right? Or no, it was the 80s when Who Framed Roger Rabbit came out. So it wasn't that different of a time, maybe 10 years between the two movies, right? Between the original.
Yeah, and then the second one, she was sexualized, which she was a female. They drew some curves on her, and everybody was all, ooh, wait. I'm like, listen, it's a rabbit.
Wait. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And then now they've kind of dumbed her down. It's not going to affect me. I don't, even with Jessica Rabbit, if you just took Jessica Rabbit, you just kind of gave her more of a modern look. Well, what's a modern look now? Like a Kardashian?
Well, a modern look. I don't think anybody would be outraged about a modern look, but what if they made her like a desexualized look for Jessica Rabbit specifically?
Then Jessica Rabbit doesn't fall. Then Roger Rabbit doesn't fall in love with Jessica Rabbit, I don't think. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. But he is a pig from the 80s. So, I mean, it is what it is, right?
All I'm really saying, my point is when I first heard this story, I thought, that's a silly thing to get excited about. I couldn't get excited. I couldn't get upset about that. And then I started thinking about Jessica Rabbit. And I go, man, if they did that to her, damn, that wouldn't feel right to me. And I kind of get it. All of a sudden. All of a sudden, when it applies to something that I kind of looked at a certain way and, oh shit, that would kind of suck. I get it. But let me also ask you this. Is it maybe different because she's a rabbit? She's an actual rabbit.
No, not at all, man. Not at all. Listen, if you want to go into Space Jam 2, I'll gladly the Space Jam differences. I gladly would. The issue is that everybody who's bitching is like a keyboard warrior that grew up and was like, Space Jam's my jam. Listen, if you really want to get technical, R. Kelly sings in that. We should get rid of Space Jam, the first one anyways. So, I mean, like the 90s back then were a lot different, like I felt more cruder, if that makes sense to you. Like they just, to me, the animation wasn't like when we grew up, like how old was when did Space Jam come out, the first one? 95?
I was going to say 93-ish, but I don't know.
Let's say 93. Then before that, you have Full Metal or Heavy Metal. You've got Cool. You got Who Framed Roger Rabbit. You got all these different, the Thundercats. You got all these like female drawings that are given female figures. Didn't matter the age. Like Lola Rabbit could have been 14, and you're like, look at the curves on her in 93, right?
Well, I don't think that's another thing I want to say is I don't think she's underage. I do believe she's always been an adult.
Okay, she's always been an adult. Then it's good. But to me, it's if you're trying to show self-image and stuff to that nature, let them have it. But the people who are complaining about that also listen to Wet Ass Pussy. So, I mean, I don't really know the difference between a girl's chest size. I really don't care.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they're all the same people. Yeah.
Adam, are you upset that she has no chest in this video? In this movie?
Well, Well, like I said, I couldn't care less. But if they did it to Jessica Rabbit, I might be like, whoa, 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 hold on. That's something that I like. That's something from my childhood. All of a sudden, it's a different story, you know?
Well, I guess if they were to put the Marvel, the X-Men cartoons from the '90s and put an 18A on it, because the way the females were drawn or the males were drawn might have been too hard for people.
What about that? Suddenly you're watching Rogue and she's all, a little bit heavy set and doesn't have quite the shapely look. Are you going, this show's not?
Why are you fucking rooting this for me? Why? Now that's something that I like. I love.
Yeah.
They're my girls. Jean Grey too. Oh.
Yeah. So if they did that to her, to these ladies,
I won't watch it.
I'll
cancel Disney Plus. I'll cancel.
Now all of a sudden these guys aren't so off base. All of a sudden it's like, whoa, okay, I get it.
Like you said, it's something you liked, and now it's something I like.
Yeah.
But to me, it's when we're looking at the new X-Men, it would be more probably geared for the children of that time. It's not made for you and I, right? Like back then it was. Then you have memories. You go, I loved the way she looked. Then go watch it, man. It's been redone in 4K. You can go enjoy the first one with fucking Michael Jordan. This one's for kids now that were our age back. Like, if that makes sense. Like, it's made for the 7 to 12-year-olds. That's what it's meant for. It's not meant for a couple of bearded 40-year-olds who want to just not complain about her chest size.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's about, right?
I guess. I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, I get your point, but I do think that making a sequel to a movie from our childhood or from their childhood, you're going to want to bring in that same audience too. So it is made for the people who were kids when the first movie came out.
This is how much I don't know. Sure. Is it a sequel or is it a remake?
I believe it's a sequel. I haven't really followed up, but I know it has a different plot. So I believe it is.
So if it's a sequel, she shouldn't have been touched unless they're going to go like she had stage 4 cancer, something crazy, and had to lose the girls.
Wow.
Because you can't take, like, I had breast reductions done. I had something done. I had double mastectomies. You got to say something.
Well, maybe she just she wanted breast reduction. She just, you know what? I don't like this look anymore.
Well, then say something about it, because all of a sudden now a couple idiots talking about it.
All right, man.
And you pissed off every geek in town. You pissed them all off. Everybody who was going to the theaters for the old Pee Wee Herman is now offended.
Yeah, well, I hope that's not happening. That would be a very, very bad movie to decide to pull a Pee Wee Herman on with a bunch of.
Name a good one.
Yeah, you're right.
Pulling a Pee Wee Herman doesn't matter at that point.
Never a good.
Doesn't matter if it's fucking Looney Tunes or Tunes. It doesn't matter, and you're done.
Yeah, doesn't matter if it's Looney Tunes or
Schindler's List or
Schindler's List. Wow, that went a different.
Or Showgirls.
Sure, that went adult, but it went in a different direction than I was thinking for adult. Showgirls was the direction I was thinking.
I was thinking too when I was going down the S videos and it was Schindler's List, then Showgirls. My computer brain didn't really say it, so I had to start it off there. No, but man, I don't know. You know what? And if one girl comes away from it, I'm going to use one girl. If one girl comes away from it and says, I love Lola Rabbit because she looks like me, I'm going to play basketball because she looks like me, the movie's a success in my books. Just takes one. That's it.
That's a mature stance. Now, what if they rated X-Men and the same thing happened? And one girl said, you know what? That's my favorite.
You know what? That's my favorite. I'm gonna find some. I'm gonna get some adamantium claws, and I'm gonna hope that I become a mutant. No, don't fuck with X-Men. Leave it alone. Walk away.
All I'm asking you for is a little consistency here, Jean-Marc. When it applies to you, you got to apply the same thing to other people. That's all I'm asking. No, that's not too much to ask.
No, you guys are living in a world. In my world, the world revolves around me. Whatever I want, I get. That's how it is, man. That's it. Listen, right. I had to watch a massive slung on this show. I get that. I'm getting the X-Men.
Listen, man, I will argue with you till I'm red in the face, and we've seen that about this.
You know that. Yeah,
but I think we're gonna have to agree to disagree. My thing is I feel with me, my own self-policing, I always try to say, don't be a hypocrite. If I would not be okay with something, then I don't want to see somebody else not be okay with it. So I just ask that you consider that. That's all I'm saying.
All right, we're good, man. It doesn't offend me if you like him or not. Okay, there you go.
All right. So let's get into Oh, there's my coffee pot. I don't know if you can hear that. Can you hear that?
I did hear that. I thought for sure it was. I thought you're baking me muffins or something. But okay.
No, that's my coffee pot. It just went turned off. All right, so more movie news, I guess, kind of is Netflix. Have you heard the news about Netflix? What they're trying to do now?
Absolutely, and I think it's. I don't know. Why don't you explain to me, and I'll give you my side of what I think is going to happen.
The long and the short of it is Netflix is going to start doing video games. That's really what it is. They kind of flirted with this idea a little bit. If you remember, I don't know if you're a Black Mirror fan, but they did sort of a choose your own adventure.
I love that. I did that a couple of times. It was a good time.
Okay, I'm a big Black Mirror fan. I didn't so much enjoy that specific movie, but a lot of people did. Anyway, they've kind of started to go down that path with that, and now they're going right into video games. They're going to start including video games for free on Netflix.
Yes, absolutely. Now, from what I can gather, so if you're not a gamer anymore, so like this maybe Xbox Game Pass is an example, and they're trying to imitate Xbox Game Pass. Basically, Xbox Game Pass is monthly fee, like Netflix. And it just has a plethora of games on it.
Okay.
So a free full games you can download and play. Sometimes they'll have Xbox exclusives that go straight to it for free. So it does piss off PlayStation, Sony a little bit. Now, with the way I'm looking at this, I'm not going to say no to Netflix, because I think we learned our lesson by saying no to Netflix before, when they tried to do the digital movie thing, and Blockbuster's like, that'll never work. And look where we are now. So I think it's right. The people they've hired looks like it's correct.
Yeah.
The thing is now is depending on what platforms you're going to use it on, right? If you're going to use it on all platforms, so if you use it on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, you should be okay.
I don't know. What do you mean by use it on platforms? Because I'm not sure. Like they're not making games for Xbox. They're sort of making their own games for Netflix, is my understanding.
So as well, what they want to do is they want to use the Oculus Rift as well as PC, and they also want to use more of like the Google Strata, the stream your game online. They're looking at doing that, but they also want to have a one-stop shop for you come in with your money and you have platform games you can just play for free. So like Blockbuster, basically, you just go in, I want this game, download the game, it's all good. That's basically what I believe they're looking at.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned the Oculus Rift. They've actually hired Mike Verdu, who worked there. He also worked for Facebook and Electronic Arts. So they, like you said, they've got the right people in position to do this. They're hiring new people. Interestingly enough, when I first heard this story, I thought this is what they're going to do to separate themselves from someone like Amazon Prime or Disney Plus, but that's not what they're doing here. They actually don't see this as a competition with them. They actually see it as a way of competing with gaming companies who were taking attention away from them. So if they can have more gaming on their platform, they're gonna keep people from going somewhere else, is what their strategy is.
Yeah, so you're still gonna have to go into Netflix to look for a game, and you might see a movie and go, "Oh, I want to watch How to Become a Tyrant" or something like that. Like that's probably what you're gonna do, right?
Well, the idea is if they can have you watch a movie and you go, "Okay, I'm done with this movie. I feel like playing video games." You stay on their platform, you play video games.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, though, but you got to remember too, like as we've seen with my internet lately, my internet's not the greatest. You have to have a lot of down and upload speed, where some areas won't have that, right? That's kind of where
that's with any gaming, right? That's any. So, do you think this is a good idea for Netflix?
Yes,
you do. Okay,
I do.
Do you think that it could put them above other streaming services?
No.
Why do you say that?
Why? Because gamers are a fickle type. A perfect example is that, like, if a service you're not paying for goes down, like if Call of Duty goes down and it's free, Warzone's free, you want to see people complain. People will complain.
That's an interesting point. That's an interesting point that I didn't quite consider. Is with the positive of opening into that sort of atmosphere of gaming, you've also got the negative that comes with it, and the negative from gamers is fucking hardcore. That is right. The first.
Let's put it. Yeah, exactly. But let's put it this way too. So let's say they get Rare, the Rare video game, and they put 007 or they put GoldenEye on there. Let's just use that as an example, or No Mercy. We log in to play it. We're playing it on like a controller of whatever type they're going to have. They're going to need something to do it with. Or maybe the PC will do it, and you'll do it, and all of a sudden it goes down. You're like, why the fuck am I paying for it? Yeah. And there's nobody you can call it Netflix. It's all net chats, right?
Yeah. And that's interesting because it's technically free. It's technically included in the same price. I mean, I'm sure they're going to do that Netflix thing where they say it's absolutely free, absolutely included in your subscription. By the way, we just decided we're going to bump it up an extra couple bucks. By the way, we just decided we're going to bump it up a couple bucks. And they're going to sneak that price point up without really telling you why. But it's going to basically, you're going to end up paying for the game, but you're not going to really realize it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, hey, we'll go out, we'll buy this studio, we'll buy that studio. Oh, but by the way, your Netflix went from $7.99 4 years ago to $13.99 or $16.99 now, right? So, I mean, if it's over doubled in price.
So I do want to make one more point that I think is worth mentioning is we've seen Netflix produce original content. Tiger King, they purchased all these stand-up comedy specials from Dave Chappelle, paid him several $1 million. And then people only watch them maybe once, maybe twice, get a couple hours out of it and then move on. Whereas if they invest that same money into gaming, they keep people on their platform and they get, who knows, unlimited hours of replay value, keeping them logged onto their system.
Yeah.
Spending that same money into another kind of piece of content.
Yeah. See, now, you've ever heard of played Fortnite before? I don't know what system you have. I don't play
Fortnite, but I will say, interesting that you bring it up, is they have explicitly named that as a rival that's taking watch time away from from Netflix.
Well, there's not too much left to Fortnite now, but what Fortnite did, free game, we're going to move it along freely. You can buy a monthly battle pass for $10 or whatever it is, and then you can win your battle pass back if you play enough. So basically, for $10, you could play infinite amount of times. You buy skins, all that stuff, but it doesn't help you. So that's what I think Netflix is trying to do, is looking at it and going, they made a free game. Mm-hmm. They made billions of dollars off this free game in 4 years. Why can't we do that? We just need one game, guys. One game to just make us $1 billion and we're fine. You need to find the one niche that everybody will play, and that's where you make your money.
Yeah. I agree. And like I said, if you invest a little bit of money, you invest that same money that you do in original content rather than Tiger King. Everybody watched it once, maybe twice. This, you get hours and hours, unlimited hours of replay value. It's a good investment, I would say.
To me, it's a good investment. You're right. And I mean, even if they were to go and say, you know what, we'll pull some old games from some old companies that no longer exist that, we may just fall in love with. And we go, I love that game. I'll go play that game. They go, we remastered this, remastered that, and we have this new one. It's going to be good, but you'll have to buy a studio to do it. I wouldn't recommend going Netflix right off the hop. Like, you probably want to get like a company that knows what they're doing, or find the team of teams to build games.
Yeah, well, I think their plan is to create original content and go from there.
Which, I mean, should be a great time, right? You just got to make sure that you know what you're doing. It's going to stumble out of the gate. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be glitchy. It's not going to work. Everybody's going to be pissed. But I think if you stick with it, I think it'll work out for you. Because yet again, like I said, I'm not a Netflix fan. I'm really not. Like, I think for me, some of the content is kind of gone. I don't really pay attention too much to Netflix anymore. But I'm not going to bet against them. I'm not that dumb. Because like, we've seen it before, man. We've seen it before. And if you're looking at Netflix was the original streamer of digital content when it comes to movies and series, right? Like, they kind of pioneered it. They kind of made it their own, and everybody kind of followed suit. I honestly think that give Netflix a year, they're dangerous. Like, give them a year, they're probably good. Year and a half to 2 years, they're dangerous.
Well, this is okay. I actually agree with you. I think Netflix has perhaps their game has dropped a little bit in the last little while. That doesn't mean they're out of the table, they're out of there, but they're definitely not. And there's been times where it's sort of cyclical, where it's like Netflix isn't quite where they used to be, and then they step up, and Netflix isn't quite where they used to be, and then they step up. For a while, people were saying Netflix isn't quite where they used to be. Boom, we're doing Dave Chappelle, and now we're hiring every stand-up comic to do a special. We're the stand-up special guys for a
Yep.
while. They were like HBO for a while. They replaced what HBO was doing for a while, had all these stand-up specials, threw money at every comic in the world, basically got a Netflix special, good, bad, indifferent, whatever. And then they started getting into true crime where they started getting Tiger King, and they got
the staircase. Like, dude, the true crime stuff's amazing. And I'm
Yeah.
with you. I'm going with you. I'm now, you and I are on the same page. I'm listening.
Yeah. So now people are starting to go, oh, Netflix is kind of a step behind. All these Disney Plus series are really starting to take attention from me, and Netflix doesn't really have a whole lot of new stuff. And then all of a sudden it's like, now we're going to put that money into video games, and oh, fuck, maybe we gotta, I think you're right when you say, I'm not going to doubt Netflix. Let's see how this goes.
So here's another thing too. Let's look at it from a cost point of view.
Sure.
Okay. So let's say that what I thought they were doing was they were doing like the Xbox Live PC, like a Steam type place. And I want to say PlayStation was in there. And now let's just say if I could have Netflix and a gaming subscription all tied into one for maybe a bit more, maybe $22 a month.
No, this is included. That's what this is it's going to be gaming on their platform along with their movies at the same price point. Now I expect that price point to sneak up a little bit, but it is going to be included.
That's what I mean. If you say your grandfather, and if you join by today, you're guaranteed that price for 5 years.
I promise you that's not going to happen, because Netflix is notorious for sneaking the price up a little bit here and there and a little bit here and there, right?
Oh, no. But what I'm saying is, like, if you did that, and then you were to say to yourself, you were looking to buy a new system for your kid, and you go, Jimmy, what do you want to play? Oh, everybody's playing this game on PlayStation. I go, well, I have that Netflix, and you can download free games on that. So what you're going to do is now I'm going to buy the PlayStation. You're going to get a PlayStation now, and I'm going to keep the Netflix. Where if you're looking at, like, you get Crave, you got Paramount, Peacock, you got all these different kinds of streaming services. Everybody's got one now. So you're like, okay, you know what? I can get rid of this one because now Jimmy's playing on the Xbox. I got to keep Netflix now because he's got the video games on there. He plays with his buddies.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, Netflix is going, we have children content, preschool content. We now have the kids from like 7 to 50. And then we have our rest of our people that like it. So I honestly think they're on top of their game. I think when it comes out, I think you'll probably see Amazon and all the other streaming services probably try and jump in right behind them with it.
And that is the next question is, have they opened up a new can of worms? Because we know that Amazon's got their foot in a different, a little bit in here, a little bit over there, a little bit over there. And once they go, oh, video games, didn't really think of that. Yeah, we could do that too. Are they going to sort of open Pandora's box in a way that maybe they didn't expect?
Depends on the games they're going to go after. If they're going to go after these elaborate RPGs with that,
to clarify, they're not going after. They're developing them in-house. So Amazon possibly has more resources to develop in-house. So does that competition perhaps favor a company like Amazon that's got a lot of resources to develop the in-house video games as opposed to Netflix, who knows?
It's all about who you got running your show.
Yeah.
Like you said, the guy running used to work for EA, used to work for Oculus Rift, used to work for all these different companies. If he wasn't a dick and he was really well loved, you slowly start pulling their top developers from every other place. You set them with a big salary at Netflix, you're laughing because you're the first guy. So you got to get the best talent, because if you don't, then you get tier 2 talent. And what tier 2 talent does is tier 2 games.
So my next question is these guys up against Disney Plus, because Disney Plus has the properties that could, you can't tell me that a Tiger King video game is going to do anything against a Star Wars video game, against a Mandalorian video game, against a Loki video game. You know what I mean? What are they going to, what do they got? I mean, a Stranger Things side quest, that'd be fun for a little while, but it's not going to rival the Avengers video game on Disney Plus if they go that route.
Okay, well let's look at it. Let's look at it from a different point of view. Then let's look at it from let's go back in our history of video games.
Sure.
Mario.
Sure.
Mario.
Sure.
Nobody's touching Mario for like 5 or 6 years. Sonic.
Yeah.
Sonic kind of crashed. Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then Mario's still kicking around. Xbox really didn't have a guy. They had like Halo series, Gears of War, things of that nature. They'll have to make their own their own guy. Like that's what they're gonna have to do is make somebody that they can push on.
Yeah. Well,
So like we don't even know what that's gonna be, right?
I don't know. I don't, when I think of all the streaming services that have intellectual property ready to create a video game, I don't see Netflix. They got a lot of stand-up specials. They got a lot of true crime specials. What am I going to do? Am I going to be Dave Chappelle and I got to write a joke for him? Like what? I don't see the transition.
So that's what I was saying was they have to go out and buy some old studios and old copyrights so they can get it back into them.
That's an interesting.
Now if they're working with PlayStation, they'll have all of Sony's properties as well, right?
That's interesting.
Because Sony's been said that they wanted to make something to rival the Xbox.
All I can say before making side deals with other companies or anything like that, just on the platform alone, I think that if all of them started dipping their toes into video games, the one that's got the most exciting properties would have to be Disney Plus. And I mean, Disney Plus has such a large library, of adults. They got Aliens, they got Simpsons, they got Futurama, they got Avengers, they've got everything as far as intellectual property. So if that can of worms is opened and everybody else says, you know what, that's a good idea, I think Netflix might be in more trouble than they realize.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying is you're going to have to start from scratch and make your own guy, like make your own platform, which at this time, like that's almost like, I don't even know. That's like using an airsoft gun in World War II. Like you're going to get fucking wasted. Like there's a nuke coming on you and you're shooting it with an airsoft to try and get it to blow up sooner. I don't know if it's going to work, man. I really don't know, but who knows? But what they could do is they could say, you're going to have your remote control or however you watch your Netflix and you're going to press left or right. That might get the older generation to go, you know what? All right. Yeah, I could kind of see like doing that. But yet again, everything just becomes, that's your game niche. I guess that's your genre. I don't know. It's not attracting to me. To me, is I want a headset on. I want to play online with the boys. Call of Duty, Chell, stuff like that. I
would imagine if they went into everything's Bluetooth now. You can go get a controller that's Bluetooth at any Walmart or Canadian Tire or whatever, and it'll work with Netflix. I'm sure that they'll have their own controllers, their own headsets, or whatever. So, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you're just going to have to find a game where, you're probably going to want to play. And you have to find a game that's going to hit the masses. Because you can't go after, you can't just go, well, we got the NHL property. That's good for Canada.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting the NFL because the NFL's already gone. But you got to look at something and go, well, what else can we get? So you have to look at buying. You'll have to buy something. You'll have to buy a studio, a good studio, and hope you can add the right heads to it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Anyway, you got anything else on this Netflix story?
Best of luck, my friends. It's interesting, and I'm excited. I'm excited for the future. If it makes gaming better for everybody, I'm in. You can't say no to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to see where it goes. Like I said, I have a feeling that if they make any leeway on this, the other studios are going to come back at them, and that could be trouble for them.
Could be, man, but I'm excited. I'm hoping. I hope good things. Let's put it that way.
All right. Okay, so there's a video that's going viral right now of Victoria's Secret Karen. Have you seen this video? I'm sure you have. It's all over the place.
Oh, I have. I've seen cut down videos. I've seen full videos. I've seen TikTok duets. I've seen everything.
So for those that haven't seen it, it's this lady, she's an African-American woman, and this white woman, I don't know if there's something about they were both going for the same product or something. I didn't quite get the total story about that. And then this woman starts freaking out, screeching, saying, "You're threatening me." And she's like, "I'm not threatening you. I'm just trying to," she's recording her, and please stop recording me, and screeching and screaming. At one point, she pretends to pass out on the floor, which was not a legitimate. She just kind of lies down, and she gets up and screeches. She runs at her, tries to attack her multiple times. It's a lot.
Fucking white people. I fucking hate you guys so much. I'm done. Listen, that woman, she ate Victoria's Secret. Like, she was a large woman. She she was in the complete wrong. She's a psycho. She was a child that didn't get a toy and freaked out. And the woman, and to be honest with you, like the woman who videotaped it, good on you. Because if that woman would have, if a woman would have did that to me, I probably would have kicked her. I probably would have did something.
Oh, don't kick women. Please don't say that.
No, if I was that woman, I probably would have kicked her. I'm kicking a woman. Okay. Yeah. If I was that woman.
That's what it sounded like. And I said, well, let's hold on. Let's back up.
Just punch him. No, but how many times are we going to have to deal with this shit?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is an interesting, you say, how many times do we have to deal with this shit? It is an interesting perspective. Is these African-American people were saying they were treated a certain way. And now that everybody's got a camera, we can see that they weren't lying. Now it's not that it's happening more. It's that it's being recorded more, that we get to see it more. And this, you said, thank God that this woman recorded it. And I agree, because had she not recorded it, and this white woman was screeching that this black woman is threatening her, and there was no evidence to the contrary, who's a cop going to believe? I mean, traditionally,
that's a good call, because then you would look at the video cameras in the store, the security cameras, and they don't have sound. Most of them don't have sound. So all you would see would be a white woman and a black woman getting into an argument. And you go, well, the white woman probably wasn't doing anything. Like, what were you doing here?
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, what the fuck? I was shopping. What the fuck do you mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean, though? Like,
yeah, it's a sad thing to say that sometimes people have these prejudices, and it's been something that black people have said for a long time, is that they're victims of this all the time, and now we've got the video evidence to see it firsthand, right?
Exactly. But now are we the only two people in the world that know everybody has a fucking goddamn video and have access to millions of people in their hand at all times?
Yeah.
Are we the only two that know that?
Apparently, I guess so, eh?
Like, dude, the minute you know something's going on, like, doesn't matter what it is. Like, if I see the cops across the road, and I'm watching it through my phone, and you go, why? I go, well, not so much for the cop, but I want to see my neighbor finally get arrested. I don't want to see my neighbor get arrested. He's a nice guy. But the example is that the camera comes up no matter what. Somebody raises their voice. Usually somebody's just like, they're already on their phone texting or whatever. I'll just start a video.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you are in public, you do not have a right to privacy. And if you're a public employee, like a police officer, you don't have a right to privacy. You're a public employee out in public. Same thing with this woman. She's in a mall and she's saying, stop recording me. Well, you're in public. You don't have, if you're in your house, of course, nobody can record you there. But if you're out at a public place, the person has a right to record them. And thank God that they did in this case. Thank God, right?
I'm with you, because I don't want to know what that psycho white whale would have done to this poor woman. I'm not even going to use color. I'm not even using color here. You put color girl and Asian, color white, color whatever. The woman on the phone, I'm going to call it, the person on the phone was an absolute genius in doing that in that case, because it saves you so much heartache. And what it does too, and it pisses me off, is that it paints white people that we're all fucking crazy. So fuck that whale. Listen, honey, stick to Walmart. That's where you guys have your own show. Just go to Walmart and just fuck off and leave everybody else in the world alone.
All right. So I think that you got anything else to say about this story?
Fuck that white woman. I'm fucking tired. White people, be nice to each other. Fuck that white woman. Stop making us look like assholes. Goddamn, you're gonna fucking freak. You probably put a dent in the floor, you fat fuck.
All right. So we're excuse me. So we're 45 minutes into the show, and I got one more story before we get into Loki. So we are keeping this show tight, keeping it good, keeping it quick, getting everybody, getting everything out there for everybody to digest.
Not like my prom date, but let's go.
Anyway, we're flying through these topics, getting them done. Not wasting anybody's time here. So
well, I didn't want to fly through the last one, but the fat white woman squished it down so good that we just had to move on. But continue. The last one, my friend.
All right. So the last story I got is just basically a Deadpool 3 trailer. Have you seen this trailer? It's been all over the internet. Everybody's going crazy about it. Everybody's reading into it, saying what it means, what it doesn't mean.
I love this trailer.
Yeah.
The reason why I love this trailer is because when Deadpool, who I've never seen Deadpool without a mask on, looks like a giant avocado, but he comes out and says, I thought this movie was released a year ago.
Yeah.
I thought it was released a year ago as well. And I was like, well, you've got my attention.
Yeah. Well, and for those that don't know, they're reviewing. They're doing like a. If you watch YouTube, I watch a lot of YouTube. They do these reaction to trailers, and it is Deadpool and Korg from Ragnarok, and they're doing a reaction to a trailer for a Ryan Reynolds movie, and Ryan Reynolds is tearing it to shreds. He actually calls it a Last Days of Fox fire sale, and talks about how basically how Ryan Reynolds, the actor, should be focusing on doing more Deadpool stuff and quit wasting his time on this crap. A lot of stuff, very, very meta, which is what Deadpool is, even really what Ryan Reynolds is. That's why he's a great casting. Pretty cool stuff. I really enjoyed it. You thought it was fun?
So who's the rock bastard again? He's from Ragnarok. What's his name?
Korg.
Did he get his own show that I missed?
No, he's just everybody gets a kick out of him in Ragnarok.
No, but Ryan Reynolds was like, you got your own Disney Plus series, didn't you? And he was like, yes.
I don't think he got his own Disney Plus. I think he was asking him, how do I get into the MCU? And Cord gives him advice, basically give up on it, expect it's never going to happen, and yada, yada, yada. And then maybe you'll get an email and it might happen, which I think might have even been like another layer of meta on top of it. Is that sounds like exactly what Ryan Reynolds probably experienced up until that point, kind of thing.
Okay, I loved it, guys. If you haven't seen it, watch it. Please do. It's hilarious. It brings me back to, I want more Deadpool. Does that make sense? I want more Deadpool. Now, are we at the point now where we should red band every Disney show coming out or Disney Plus series or the new movie? Because I would love to have been like watching him being like, oh, for fuck's sakes, I'm not in this one, or I'm not in Black Widow, or put me somewhere, like give me anything. Like that's kind of what I want to see now. I want to see him do more of that.
Yeah,
unfortunately, I want to see him do that.
That would be fun to see him just as like the guy doing commentary on every other movie. Like you can get an extra audio commentary of
Ryan Reynolds. That'd be awesome, dude. No, it'd be great. Or what I'd like to see now is almost like a Between Two Ferns, one with Deadpool, and then he's doing like, maybe he's get George Lucas and like, okay, Marvel's really dropped the fucking ball with me. Can I join like Star Wars? You guys are making some shit up. Like I want to see more. Hell, give him his own Netflix, or give him his own Disney Plus series. Why not?
Ooh, that's a good idea. That's a fun idea.
Listen, from what I understand, we got a bunch of fucked up timelines anyways, so why don't we just put him in one of those?
Well, and that's where I was kind of trying to get this conversation going to is we all know that Deadpool is in the Fox X-Men universe, which has not come over to the MCU. A lot of people are saying that this trailer means that that Deadpool is in the MCU if he's interacting with these Marvel Korg's and Marvel characters interacting with that. Does that make Deadpool canon in the MCU, or are we going to have some weird multiverse thing where I don't know, but they're making a Deadpool 3 and we got a multiverse, so things are coming together. That's all I can really say for sure.
All right, so we're gonna have fucking Tobey Maguire and Ryan Reynolds together. Great.
That'd be great, man. I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to that. But hey man,
all right. Before we move on to the multi-universe here, we're both agreed we want to see more. We want to see more Deadpool.
Absolutely.
Where does Deadpool end up in the multi-universe? What would you like to see? In a perfect world, what would you like to see with Deadpool?
Oh, it's interesting because in order to bring Deadpool in as Ryan Reynolds, that means you have to absorb the rest of the Fox universe into the MCU, which is fun because I'd like to see Hugh Jackman and some of the X-Men into the MCU, but I'd also really like to see what Marvel Studios would do with X-Men because they've done such a great job with so many other things, and I want to see their version. So I don't know what the perfect scenario is for me. I don't know which one I'd prefer. Do I want to see the Marvel Universe make up their own Deadpool, or do I want to see them absorb the Deadpool? I think I'd like to see them absorb the Deadpool from the Fox universe, but I don't want them to absorb the X-Men from the Fox universe necessarily. What? I do want to see Hugh Jackman interact with the Avengers though. So I'm very conflicted as to what I would like.
Okay, so this is where you and I fist fight, I think. What X-Men do you like better?
What do you mean, what X-Men do I like better?
The original ones from when we were in high school? Like, what cast do you like better? or do you like the first class?
I like the newer class, actually, to be honest. I like.
Okay, we're in love again. Okay, we're in the same boat.
Did you say we're in love?
Again.
That's not better. That's not better.
How's that not better? I think that's awesome. Again.
Right. Okay, we're in love again, apparently.
Oh, okay. I would love to see Wolverine, Deadpool, and I would love to see fucking goddamn Iron Man. I'd love to see all three of them together in a room, just to like, what the fuck are you doing here? I thought like we have that much money, we got Tony Stark back, like just you know what I mean, like something dumb like that. I think it'd be awesome.
Well, I mean, I think I've said it on previous shows that we've done. Is I would love, it would be a fantasy to see Hugh Jackman and Tobey Maguire and the Avengers all in the same room. You throw Deadpool in there, that's even better. And a couple years ago, that would have been like, what are you talking about? That's never going to happen. But I mean, after this week's Loki that we're going to get into a little bit later, it's absolutely possible and it's absolutely probable.
It is. It's so true. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I agree 110%. I think it was. That's what I want to see. I just want to see more Deadpool. Replace him with Stan Lee. Like, just as horrible as it sounds, that's big shoes to fill. But even just having him now in cameos, I think would be great. That's a fun idea. But him and the cab driver. If you just had him in a cab and they just kind of drove by, and you're like, hey,
that's a fun idea. All right, do you got anything else about?
No, sir.
Deadpool? I just want to read some of the comments in here. Trev Poulin has got a few. Most of this is pretty late. And Trevor has mentioned that most of his comments are from before. So by the time I get to them, he's usually talking about some point that we've already made. I do want to say that. I do want to say that for our audience. Shot in Ryan Reynolds' home studio that he does his podcast in. I didn't know that. Did you know that? This was shot in Ryan Reynolds' home studio where he shoots his podcast. Yep. Trev Poulin dropping knowledge. It'd be hilarious if Deadpool did all the movie trailers. I agree 100%. That's actually what John Mark was just saying. It would be cool to see him do that. And Wolverine versus Deadpool would be awesome. It absolutely would. Both characters have a healing factor, so that'd be really cool to see.
Would be. All right, Adam.
Wait, whoa. We already saw Deadpool versus Wolverine.
We did.
It was not awesome.
I think 3 people seen that movie. I think we're okay to erase it. Did it really happen, though, after Loki? Did it really happen?
I think after Days of Future Past, it did not happen.
Correct. No, Deadpool 2. No,
Days of Future Past, they went back and erased everything, and then they rewrote. That was how they were able to reintroduce Deadpool 1. Whatever. We're getting into multiverse. With that said, do you want to get into Loki?
I don't want to get into Loki, but we're going to anyways because I wasted enough time racking my brain over this stupid thing.
So what did you think about Loki?
Dumb.
Oh! I loved it. I loved every second of it. Why? Okay, tell me why you did not like Loki.
Okay, so remember what I don't remember if it was at the beginning. I think it was the first one. I said you got to kind of be careful what you're doing. You're going into timelines now. Mm-hmm. You got to make sure you don't lose people.
Sure.
The third episode, they wrapped it all together. You're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
The last episode, you're like, what the fuck? They've opened up every fucking universe now. Every universe.
Yeah.
The branches have expanded beyond all expectations.
Okay.
Now what they've done to me is they've lost my wife. My wife will no longer watch those.
Well, from what you've described about your wife, she hates time travel, so I'm surprised she even watched any of these.
She didn't watch any of them because I watched them first. I'm not making her go through that.
Okay.
But so if it's going to the theaters, like if the movies are going to the theaters and they got to do the timeline, you've lost my wife. I'll probably go see the first one alone, but I don't know how many after that I would see. Basically, you're alienating a bunch of people that probably didn't follow the comics that well.
Well, Marvel has, I don't know if they've stated, but it has been put out there somehow by Marvel that the next phase after Endgame is going to be multiverse, time travel, very complex ideas that they've built the groundwork for in the previous previous phases, and this is going to get into complex, reweaving some of those storylines, revisiting them, retelling certain stories, and multiverse, possibly bringing in new characters from other properties that they've acquired over the last couple of years. We know that that's probably going to happen in the Spider-Man movie. So this episode set that all up. And regardless of how you feel about the multiverse that it set up, how did you feel about this specific episode? Did you enjoy anything of it?
I enjoyed quite a bit. I honestly enjoyed it quite a bit of it. I did. Just at the end, I'm like, for fuck's sakes. Like,
flies off the rails for you.
It does, because now it's like, okay, you had him in one. So basically Loki's just a fucking moron. Basically all
Why is Loki a moron?
Don't trust yourself, you fucking moron. You like, just because yourself turned into a female doesn't mean that you can trust her. It's still fucking Loki.
That's an interesting. Well, he didn't really trust her.
We can do this together. Don't kill him. Oh.
Yeah. Well,
Boots are...
That's an interesting idea. I'm going to dive real deep in the next little bit here.
Bastard. I didn't want to dive real deep into this episode. I wanted to surface scratch it. Well, let's go.
If we're talking about it and the audience wants to talk about it and wants to hear us discuss, we're going deep, and I'm about to go deep. So for me, some of the themes that were explored throughout this entire series that culminated here are free will versus determinism. But what's interesting about this is you have Kang. It's Kang, right? They never say it's Kang, but you know it's Kang, I'm sure, right? It's Kang. Kang the Conqueror. They never say it, but it is Kang the Conqueror, right? So this being who is omniscient, all-knowing, he says, I know everything that's going to happen. He's tired. He doesn't want to do this job anymore, so he wants to flip a coin. He wants to say, heads, I let the other variants take over. I don't go back next time there's a deviation. I don't go back and fix it. And that leads to another Kang popping up. And then another one, I don't, and whatever. So these evil Kangs can come, or I let these Lokis take over. In order to flip a coin, he engineers this situation. And that's what this entire series is him engineering a coin flip where he's got a character who can't trust and a character who can't be trusted. And he says, this is what happens. You kill me, and the evil Kangs take over. And the one that can't trust says, I don't believe you. And he goes, and if you don't kill me, you can take over. And Loki, who all he wants to do through this entire series, he says, all I want to do is take over. We can rule the TVA. And she says, from the first episode, all I want to do is destroy the TVA. And you have these characters converge in this perfect moment. And that's when Kang says, from here on, I don't know what's going to happen. It's up to you. I flipped a coin. I put it in motion. You guys figure it out. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was brilliant.
Okay. So you and I are in agreement on certain things.
Okay.
So up to the point where he says, oh, there it is. I don't know what else is going to happen from here. I can't see that far because it's up to you two. I'm done. I'm completely out.
You're out.
They're like, I'm done. I can't do anything. I can't tell you what's going to happen.
Okay. Yeah.
It goes on. They die. He obviously gets stabbed. He dies.
Yeah.
Loki gets tossed. I go, oh, fuck. Here we go. I know what's coming. I already know. I see down the Marvel universe. I go, I'm so mad. I watched it a second time.
Yeah.
It was good. It wasn't that it was bad. I think that this episode was good. Mm-hmm. I think the ending and what's coming is the frustration part that's coming out of me. Everything you said, like where they meet at a point, everything like that, you're like, exactly. That's how you want to end a season or a series. You want it all to come to a point. It finally comes to a point, and then at the end, they do it, and you look over and you see, let's call him Kang, and Kang, you look up and you go, oh, for fuck's sakes. I know exactly what's coming. I already knew what was coming. I'm like, oh, this is going to be hard.
Yeah, well, it is setting up a lot of things. We know that the multiverse is coming, and I do have to point out that they've kind of done the hokey pokey with the multiverse for a little while, because we had Spider-Man, they had Mysterio who says, I'm from a multiverse, a different dimension. And then we turn out by the end of it, that wasn't true. So it was kind of like they put it out there for maybe a guy like you to say, like, or maybe your wife to say like, is this okay? Because we're going to take it back. But if it was okay, maybe like here's a sample of what the multiverse could be. And if you're okay with that, then maybe we'll go full on. And then we get into WandaVision where they do the same thing. Oh, we got this guy from the Fox universe. You're okay with that? Because we're going to take it back at the end. But if you're okay with it, maybe we'll double down and keep going. And they did that a couple of times. And now this is it. There's no fucking going back.
Listen,
when that knife goes into Kang, he ain't going and pruning the timeline, and multiple Kangs are coming, and we're getting divergence and divergence and divergence.
Okay. Like you said, though, like, let's treat this as real life. Like you said, we'll give you a little kiss, a little foreplay, a little text. Hey, babe, how you doing? How you doing? You start texting WandaVision. Oh, you still interested? Okay, we'll do this, we'll do that. You don't turn around and ass fuck me in Loki. Like, what the hell was that? I expected a little taste. You know, we're going to do this. We'll set up a next timeline. And then, you know what? We'll ease in. Doctor Strange will be around. And, you know, we'll bring in a Spider-Man or two in this one. Oh, you're like, fuck it. This is a rainforest, fucking variants now. We are fucked.
Well, at some point, they got to commit. And this was them committing. They've done the hokey pokey. They've tested it out. Now we're going full steam ahead.
Now, can they pull it back?
Why would they? I don't think they want to pull it back. I think they want to do this. They want to go multiverse.
Doctor Strange. Is Doctor Strange a Disney Plus series or a movie?
I believe it's a movie, The Multiverse of Madness.
To be honest, I don't know how that movie's going to do. I personally love Doctor Strange. I love the actor. I love everything about the character. I don't know if it's going to fly.
That's interesting because we disagree on so many things, and I do not like Doctor Strange. I don't like magic. I don't like magic characters. I don't like a character who can just do anything. It's too out there. I like it to be a little bit more grounded for me personally. So I'm not a big fan of Doctor Strange.
The reason why I like Doctor Strange is because he's an arrogant prick at the beginning, gets into the car accident, he's not going to use his hands again, whatever have you. Then when he meets Tony Stark in Endgame, he's like, you truly are a douchebag. You're like, no, you're the exact same fucking person. You were Tony Stark when you started as well. Now you're some type of a wizard. I like him. I also like the actor. I like that kind of stuff. But I don't know if somebody's going to go in and go, well, I watched the Lokis. I'm going to go watch. I haven't watched the Lokis. And you walk into Doctor Strange, you're screwed.
So another thing that I want to point out is with all these variants, what happens if, say, even Kang maybe sides with the Avengers by the end of this? Or maybe we get to a point where time travel is something that we can harness. And what happens if the end of this phase or whichever, maybe it goes 2 or 3 phases, but the end of this book, and not the end of this chapter, because this is just one chapter in the book, but the end of this book ends in something so big, so unstoppable that even time travel can't stop it. Like in Endgame, they said there's this many possibilities and only one of them we win. Well, what if they get to a point where it's none of them win? It's something so big that they can't stop it.
Well, hold on. Like, that's what you get for trusting Loki. Should have killed him.
Trapula wants to ask if I liked Wanda, like WandaVision. I liked WandaVision. It was okay. So I also wanted
like Wanda.
I like Wanda. I think it makes it awesome. They have so many stories they can tell. Trapula is saying it's a Mordecus. Yeah, that is true. It will be. He doesn't trust her. So the other thing is Sylvie. So Sylvie is on this path.
Hang on. Can I ask you a personal question about Sylvie?
Sure.
Is she hot or is she not hot?
I think she's hot.
She's hot?
Yeah. You think what do you think?
I think 50-50. I don't know. I don't know why. Something about her. I just don't think she's super hot. I don't know.
I think she's hot.
I think she's cute. I wouldn't give her that, but I don't know.
I think I'd give her hot.
Right. It was just a personal question.
Okay.
I continue with your question here.
So, like I said, we have all these converging ideas in this sort of perfect moment where we have revenge versus. Sorry, are you doing something?
Give me 1 sec. My internet just cut down. Just give me 1 sec.
Oh, okay. What? Your internet, I think, is going fine.
Should be better.
Okay.
Sorry, man. I just realized that my laptop wasn't plugged in and it was dropping. So that's why my whole thing went down. Continue on.
All right. So like I said, like I was about to say, we have this perfect moment where we have all these converging ideas. We have one character who wants revenge, one character who wants power. And in order to achieve those goals, they're in direct conflict with each other. They've also got the conflict of their possible love for each other versus their goal. We've got one character that can't be trusted and one character that can't trust, all converging in this moment. Once Sylvie gets rid of Loki and stabs Kang, and before she stabs him, she says, "Aren't you going to beg for your life?" And he says no. And then she kills him and he says, "I'll see you soon." Do you think she realizes she fucked up? He wasn't lying.
That's the minute he said, "I'll see you soon."
Yeah.
I'm like, well, look what you did, you little jerk.
Yeah. He doesn't beg for his life. He doesn't try to stop her. It's not a trick. She kills him and he lets her. And she unleashes the multiverse.
When you know, you don't care, right?
Yeah.
Like if I was going to tell you, if I was to tell you that you're going to die when you're 75 years old, this is how you're going to die. You can do anything else with that, and you're not going to die. You're good. You're like, fuck it. Okay, good. I'm good. Once you know you're going to die and come back, do you really care? Like, okay, do it. I don't care. I'm good. I'm coming back. I know what's going to happen. You're screwed.
Yeah. So another thing. Sorry, were you going to say something?
Well, I was going to say, no, you continue on. I'm going to let you do the rest of your thing. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions at the end.
Okay. Well, there's a few points that I want to make, just wrapping this up. Firstly, this is not the same Loki that we started out with. That's an important thing to talk about, is when, and really, I mean, we can talk about this character's change throughout all of the MCU, but specifically where the starting point is Loki's an antagonist. He's the biggest antagonist because this is Avengers 1, where he was like the Thanos of that movie. He was the big baddie of that movie, the antagonist. And then we get into a point where he's sort of like this anti-hero, where he's not a good guy, but he'll help out the good guys if it serves his purpose. And now we've gotten to a point where and I've had this discussion with you about characters like this before, he turns into a lovable scoundrel. He's kind of like a pirate. He's not a good person, but he has a good heart. And that is not what we expected out of Loki at the beginning of this.
Okay, that's what I expected.
That's what you expected. Okay.
I did expect Loki to. I expected more. I thought the way it was gonna go, I thought we would have one more season till the full multiverse. I figured him, Loki, and oh my god, why am I drawing a blank? Owen Wilson, Luke Wilson's character, Owen Wilson's character, Mobius. Thank you. Mobius would have got together, and they kind of would have set up for season 2. I didn't know that they were so rushed to get this whole thing going that it went that way. I like Loki. I think he's good. I don't know. I love Loki, but Loki yet again though. The Loki, we stabbed somebody. So female Loki, not nice. Male Loki, really cool.
Okay, I've got a couple other points. Do you have anything else you really want to say before I get into them though?
No, you're gonna do your points. I'll ask you a couple questions at the end.
Okay. Well, I have another point. Is another question I want to actually get into. I'm kind of done with this specific episode. I'm more interested in talking about Loki as a whole. So if you have anything else about this episode, we'll
just talk Marvel after we're done with Loki. You continue with Loki, then we'll talk with Marvel questions.
Sure. Okay. So one question, I mean, there's a lot of little things that I don't get. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on with Judge Renslayer. I don't know where she's going, what she's doing to get her free will. Obviously, Kang sent her some sort of message that we're never going to find out until the next season. That's okay. Other questions I have that I expected to be explained by the end of the series is, what the hell does arresting a variant who changed the timeline do? That doesn't fix the timeline. That just removes them. Like if Loki, we know what Loki's supposed to do for the rest of this timeline, and he just doesn't exist in that timeline. That doesn't fix the timeline. That just drastically changes it. So I don't understand how arresting, like, correct. I don't understand how that fixes things. That's something that
it doesn't, dude.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't. It doesn't. They're just basically the TVA are just a bunch of I don't even know. Like Cops, I guess,
Yeah.
because it's like they arrest you after the fact or before the fact that they really picked up Loki. Like, we need you to hunt yourself. And
Yeah.
this is where we think you're going to be. They're just basic cops.
Yeah. So we've got this sacred timeline that they're keeping intact throughout this series, but all they do is arrest someone who committed a deviation, but they don't fix the deviation because, like I said, Loki's not in the rest of this timeline, and we know that he's supposed to be. So it doesn't really make sense, and we're not going to figure out how that works. Maybe they have an answer. I kind of think they don't. I think it's maybe a plot hole that's happening. I will say, what did you think about the ending of this episode? Like the specific, he turns around and he sees a statue and it's got Kang's face on it.
Well, so rewind that 34 seconds. Basically, when he shows up and he runs up and he's telling Mobius what's happening, and then Mobius goes, "Who the hell are you?"
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh shit. So Loki's the only one on that timeline that remembers it. The real Mobius, who should remember it, is probably another timeline that he's going to have to get to for them to be able to take everything over. So and then going and looking at King, you're like, okay, you done fucked up, bud. Like, basically, you screwed up. We know you screwed up. You know you did it. Now it's like, now you got to deal with the consequences.
So I feel like that ending was sort of an allusion to Planet of the Apes, maybe even more specifically the Tim Burton one, where it's like specifically the statue of Abraham Lincoln is changed. So it's an interesting twist and I think that was done on purpose. I think it was meant to allude to that. And I also feel like this entire episode was like a take on the Matrix, the end of the Matrix Revolution, where they meet with the architect and he explains this long-winded explanation and he's just sort of sitting in his desk. That's what this episode was. I've seen some memes where they say, are we really just going to sit here and listen to you talk the whole episode? And he says, yeah, but my performance is going to be so captivating that you won't even really notice how long it goes by.
Yeah, no, it's so true. I enjoyed, like I said, I enjoyed the episode. I didn't like the ending because I see the headaches coming ahead.
Yeah, I agree. Well, on the subject of acting, I actually heard somebody else reviewing it. They said that Mobius's performance was sort of like Training Day meets Willy Wonka, and I thought that was pretty cool. I couldn't not share that. So that was
actually,
cool.
You know what? Yeah, no, I can agree with that.
Yeah, and
I can absolutely agree with that.
So with all that said, the one thing that I do want to say is, firstly, for me, and I know we're on different pages, Loki might actually be my favorite piece of media within the MCU. The entire series of Loki might actually be my new favorite. The other thing that I want to say is Loki watching at one time was a fun ride, but I think knowing that everything was set up and specifically engineered for that perfect moment at the end, rewatching Loki is going to be a fun ride, and I'm looking forward to going back and also picking out these Easter eggs, because now that I had said, this episode reminds me of Sliders, and now that episode, the ending kind of reminds me of Planet of the Apes, and this kind of reminds me of The Matrix. I think that when I go back and watch it again, I'm going to pick out a lot more of these sci-fi nerdy things that were put in to reference people that are looking for it. And I'm also expecting to see a lot of the moving parts being put into motion. A lot of things like I said, like Loki says early on, I want to rule the TVA. And Sylvie says, well, I want to destroy them. And that's the collision course that they're on the entire time.
Why not? But why didn't Loki ask Sylvie, the other Loki, which is always confusing to me, why do you want to tear him down? They had enough time together. They could have been like, hey, why do you want to kill him? They're like, I want to rule, because that's what Loki's always, the Loki, like the male Loki that we all know, he always wants to rule. This Sylvie wants to kill. What the hell happened to you to make you want to kill everybody in TVA?
Well, I think it's because it's interesting. It's interesting. Like I said, rewatching it, you're going to see these things that stick out a second time. So Sylvie asks Judge Renslayer, what did I do to be taken? Like, what was my Nexus event? Judge Renslayer says, I don't even really know, because she didn't have a Nexus event. And that is why Sylvie wants to destroy Kang, because Kang ruined her entire life for no reason. So she doesn't want to take over the TVA. She wants to kill the person that ruined her life. So she's on a path, and there's no amount of power that's going to change this. This person ruined my life. I'm coming for them. I want one thing, and it's revenge.
All right, I'll give that to you.
Loki, on the other hand, he doesn't want that revenge. He just wants the power. He's always wanted the power. That's all he's ever wanted. So it's, like I said, a perfect collision course.
My favorite part of it was what did you do to get here? What'd you do in your link? I killed Thor.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That's probably my favorite one. I'm like, all right, yeah, it's awesome. Okay, and we wrapped up. I wanted some questions about where we're going with Marvel. Where are we going with the MCU?
Well, wait. I will answer your questions, but I'm gonna do Trev Poulin a favor and just read through some of his comments first, if that's okay with you. No.
Yes, go ahead.
I've neglected him. I've had some points that I wanted to ramble through, but I'd like to.
We're okay.
Okay, so he's asking. So I believe Trev Poulin's point is about me saying I don't like Doctor Strange, because he says, so you don't like Wanda either. And I said, oh yeah, I like Wanda earlier in the show. And he points out that she's magic. That's a good point. Her magic's a little bit more grounded, but I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of just magic.
I'll be honest. If I have to look at magic and you're telling me to choose between Wanda and Doctor Strange, just for my viewing pleasure, I'm going Wanda 10 times out of 10. So, that's just the way it is.
So I'm going to get a little bit deeper on this. I like a character like Spider-Man, where it's like he shoots webs. He's got a sense when there's danger. He can crawl on the wall. But if you paint him in a corner, he can't just be like, yeah, but I got a spell for that you've never heard of before. I got this secret amulet that makes me walk through walls or whatever. He can't do that. He can crawl up the wall. There's very well-defined magic. I mean, it's all magic, but it's very well-defined boundaries for that magic. That's what I happen to like. That's just my personal taste.
Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's a dick. But continue.
Well, we're going to see him in the next Spider-Man, it's looking like, and that's going to be exciting.
Hope Uncle Ben gets shot again.
I mean, sure. And I should have mentioned, as far as the hokey pokey in the multiverse, we could have mentioned Spider-Verse, probably my favorite Spider-Man movie, although that's not an MCU movie, but
nope, it's a good one.
Definitely. So Trev Poulin also asked, why did Sylvie send Loki back to Mobius? Why did Sylvie send Loki back to Mobius? Doesn't know who he is. I think that's just not written. I think he means why, when Sylvie sent Loki back to Mobius, he doesn't know who he is. Like, what timeline is he on now? How do they know who he is? I think that this is a thought that I had too. So there's a lot to get into. But it looks like Kang went back and changed the timeline of the TVAs. The long and the short, we're getting into very complicated time travel stuff, because they did say that the timeline you cannot change. It'll create an alternate reality. However, the TVA lives outside of these timelines, so it's technically not the same as that. That's my
okay. You went hard. I'm going to go a little bit easier. Okay. I think the reason why Sylvie sent Loki back to the TVA was because if she was wrong, if Kang was right and you stabbed him and then the evil one came back, she knew that Loki could save it and switch everything back. I think that's the only reason. Don't overthink that one. I think for the dumbed down version, I think it's okay. I'm not going to kill you. I have the opportunity to kill you, Loki. I'm just going to get rid of you, because if I fuck this up, I know you'll probably be able to get us back and get us out of it.
Well, let's dive a little bit deeper into that answer. We know that Loki has feelings for Sylvie. Do you think that Sylvie has feelings for Loki? Because she kissed Loki and then pushed him through a portal.
Kissing yourself, man. This shouldn't happen.
But we know Loki has feelings for her, and it sure seemed like Sylvie had feelings for him on that other world that they were on when they put the blanket on each other. They got a little romantic. And then when the moment came, she used that to her advantage to get what she wanted. Was she deceiving Loki, or was she in love with Loki and had a moment of weakness that she had to exploit to get what she wanted? What I'm asking is, does Sylvie have feelings for Loki?
No, it's a Loki. Who gives a shit? Listen, you don't trust Loki's. That's it. We're done. Like, that's it. All they did was that if I fuck this up, you're going to be my fucking bailout. Here you go. Get the fuck out of here. Let me do what I got to do. And if I fuck up, you'll fix it. That's all it is.
Well, I think that's an idea that's going to be explored in the next phase.
Oh, do you mean that a female in a Marvel universe used her sexuality and knowledge of a man who loved her to her advantage? Is that a thing? If it was the other way around, we'd be fucked right now.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So you don't think Sylvie has feelings for Loki? Is that what you're saying?
Who the fuck would have time for? Who has time for Loki? He's an asshole. Move on.
Okay.
Well, if you know he's going to save you, we're done. We're good.
I actually think Sylvie might have feelings for Loki, but I'm not sure. And it's one of those things that maybe watching it again, it'll stand out. And Trapule says, also like Heath Ledger as Joker. I don't know what that means.
What the fuck? We're in DC now? Shut him up. We're done with him. That's dumb. We're done. No.
PD Tingle, LOL. I don't know. This is obviously stuff that is referencing the things that we were saying earlier on. We've got a comment from Brandon Burke. If North Bay had a crime-fighting vigilante, which high school would he have gone to? I'm going to say Whitfield.
Yeah. I'm probably going to go Whitfield as well. Yeah. So he's not in the swamp with the fucking idiots down there. He's not at the Catholic school. He's not French because the French don't give a fuck about anything themselves. If he's in Chippewa, he's just dirty. So it has to be Whitfield.
Got to be Whitfield. Got to be Whitfield because that's where me and you went.
That's right.
All right. So now let's get back to where we go or where we were. You had some questions for me about.
I have questions. When are they going to pull the plug on it?
On the MCU?
Yep. On this new chapter. Now, here's what I'm thinking. And this is just me, and I tend to fall into the dumb category. Like I fall into
that. You're not dumb. Don't say
no. Let me get this. No. Listen, you very smart about Marvel and the comics and all that shit. And you have like the generic guy who would just buy like the main comics. He's smart. And you got dummies like me who know what a comic is and who have their favorite people. Marvel is, I think Marvel's going to lose a lot of money. Are they going to set the bar high from the previous? They're not going to be able to reach those heights. When do they pull the plug? Or do they bite the bullet and go, we just got to rush this?
I don't see that happening. I think that from what I've seen, people seem excited. People are excited to see novel ideas like all of the Spider-Men in one movie. People are excited to see the possibility of the X-Men crossing over. These are gimmicks. Let's be honest, they're gimmicks, but they're gimmicks that are wrapped into this complex idea that maybe some people aren't totally on board, but they put a spoonful of sugar to help that medicine go down.
Well, you know what? I don't know. I don't think it's going to work for them. To be honest, I don't think it's going to work because everybody's already put time into the guys they loved from before. I don't think it's going to translate into anything at all. And you got to follow a more twisted kind of movie. So like Tom, who's Spider-Man?
Tom Holland.
Holland. So you signed another three movie deal, right, for Spider-Man?
Sure.
So you're like, okay. And then Middleton says he wants to play Loki for the rest of his life. I'm like, good for you, buddy. Doctor Strange looks like he's signing on again. These aren't the actors that are going to draw people in to the movie theater.
What? I mean, Thor's still there. There's going.
Yeah, but I'm not like. Besides Ragnarok, I don't think there's been a good Thor movie. So he's got one. And then he was in the Avengers. Like, okay. So you just kind of piggybacked off. So like Captain America gone. Stark gone.
Let's back up a bit. Stark is the one exception to this rule is Marvel has never done stunt casting except for with Robert Downey Jr. Every one of their they have done stunt casting and they've done it well. Every single one of the characters that they have used to build their main backbone of their characters were basically not super expensive characters. They weren't like household names. They were just sort of characters who were good at acting, actors who were good at acting that they could shape into these characters. And then they'd always put like a celebrity, like Jeff Bridges was in the first Iron Man and never appeared again. Mobius is in Loki. He's never going to appear again. Maybe he'll be in the next Loki. They've put, these celebrity names around them so that if they want to draw an audience, they'll say, okay, there's Jeff Bridges in this movie. I'm going to go check it out. That'd be cool to see him in a comic book movie. And then they get rid of him and they continue on with Robert Downey Jr. We know his career was sort of on a downslope. So they probably got him for a deal. And once they became stars, sure, they've got to pay them the money that they deserve. But Marvel has never they've never made the backbone of their universe based on star power. They've sprinkled it in. They had Stallone in for one movie or two movies. Stallone was in it, but they didn't have Stallone play Thor. They had him in the MCU to maybe draw a crowd, but he wasn't the driving force. So I don't think that that's really going to be a problem. I think, sure, maybe you don't think Tom Hiddleston or Tom Holland or whatever are big stars, but if they're lacking a little bit of star power, they'll cast another star to put in. Maybe Brad Pitt shows up or something for that one.
Brad Pitt's already been in Deadpool, so I doubt that's going to happen for you, Slick.
For one frame, right?
Doesn't matter. He was still in it.
Okay, so what other questions?
Okay, so when do they pull the plug? And now my next question is, where the fuck are they going after all this?
I think they're going into the multiverse. Like I said, you're gonna see them doing a lot of these abstract ideas.
So okay, because my question is if the tree gets too big, you just go down to the base and that's how you cut a tree. Just fucking get your little time machine and go fucking fuck something up before it goes into the multiverse. Go change it, and you're done.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they want to do that. I think that they want to do stories that were in the comic books that are about multiverse and time travel, and they're getting that into a mainstream audience. And I think they've done a really interesting job of getting to that point.
Do you think that they make as much money on this side of the MCU as they did on the previous side of the MCU?
I think they might end up making more, because as abstract and complex as these ideas are, people have seen how the Infinity Saga played out. And I think that a lot of the audience is going to have faith that this is building to a punchline that they have some faith in.
All right. We're about to find out, my friend. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I mean, we're in for a ride, I think.
I think so too. I'm excited. I think it sounds like we're on very different pages, but that'll make for some interesting, possibly interesting reviews or discussions when we get into it.
Loki's gone and fucked everything up.
All right. Do you got anything else for today?
I got nothing else, man. What about yourself? Anything else?
I got nothing. I'm just going to check the chat. Brendan Burke says, my guess would be Algonquin. Yeah, made you whistle. I don't know what that means. Woodfield, good call. And Trev Poulin says, I was talking about Kang's performance. You listed Training Day, etc. I'm also saying Heath. Oh, so he's saying it reminded him of Heath Ledger. That's a valid point. I would say Heath Ledger and the Joker, Kang's performance was pretty on par with that too.
Okay, done.
Cool. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And if you see anybody talking about anything that we have discussed on the show, please share one